All right, finally, we're getting ready to get started, but we still got a few days, so we've had to be very imaginative the last few weeks, trying to keep our guys focused on what they're doing, trying to get better. We've been going over and over and over the same things for a long time, but we need to find out where we're at and where we need to work and where we don't need to work. So the good thing is we've been able to take some extra time and work against some teams that we'll play down the line. The last couple of weeks, though, we've worked on our opening game, and pretty similar on both sides. We have made a lot of changes on our offense and defense since last year. So the one thing we do have is a little bit of element of surprise. This team going into this season, as it was last year at this time, we have a lot more depth than we had last year, which is it's not saying a whole lot because we didn't have any last year in some areas. We had to move running backs to defensive backs, but our coaches have done a good job of getting a good 2 and 3 deep going into this season. We've been fortunate that we hadn't had a lot of injuries in the last 4 weeks, and so we're pretty healthy. Our guys are fresh. We just need to play a game and just find out where we're at, and it's going to be interesting because we're playing our first game and we're playing teams that this week that's played 2 games, and next week we'll play a team that's played 3 games, and so they're going to be ahead of us in terms of knowing what type of football team that they have. But our guys are excited about playing. Hopefully our fans are excited. Hopefully we come down this week to Paul Brown Stadium, nip it on the banks, and see what we've got. Friday night games, I'm not fond of them, but it is what it is. I think it's going to hurt our crowd a little bit because of high school games, and Friday night is for high school football, but sometimes you do what you're told to do in terms of television, and it'll be some national exposure for us starting this season. And again, I think that's a little bit of a motivational point for our players and hopefully for our fans. So the rest of the week we'll put together just bits and pieces of sideline control, all the little things that you don't think about for a game. We practice at Paul Brown Stadium 4 or 5 times in the last few weeks, try to be as familiar with Paul Brown as we possibly can be. Mike Brown and his family and the people working at Paul Brown have done an excellent job. They've helped us in every way that they've been able to, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a little bit of change, but I'll really be excited about getting back to Nippert next year in our new renovated stadium. But thank goodness we have somewhere to go while we're redoing it. And so I want to thank the Brown family, the Bengals, and everybody that works there of helping us out and getting this thing started in the right direction. But it will not be as much of a home field advantage, obviously, because of the familiarity with Nippert as to Paul Brown. But it'll be a fun time, and so hopefully we can get our fans out and get them ready to go and fired up about this season as we get started. Now we knock out 8 straight. We'll catch up everybody else pretty quick, and it won't take us long. So we're going to be in game mode now. For I guess 8 weeks. We'll have a couple of Friday night games, a Thursday night game. It'll be a little bit of a changeover some weeks, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And again, I think we've got a good football team, but we've got to play like one. First couple of weeks, I've watched some teams that have better football teams than what they played, and they hadn't played up to their potential. But that's the reason you play, you watch film, then you practice and you try to make those weaknesses better and try to strengthen those. And so that's what we'll do. We're going to go into this game with a very good game plan. Our guys have worked very hard on it, our coaches, our players. We've made it fun for our players, but again, we need to hit somebody else. Offensively, getting ready to go into a season with a new quarterback. We will start Gunnar Kiel will be our starting quarterback, and he will get the reins. He's practiced very well for the past 2 or 3 weeks. He's worked hard. I'm proud for him for what he's done in the off season. Again, there's a lot of competition there. We could have picked either of the 3. And, the thing about Munchie is I think Munchie's physically ready to go. We will play him. We've just got to get him mentally back into football after his injury last year. It's been almost a year since then. So he's had that time, but I'll say this about Munchie. Most of us in this room would be watching this game from the stands. This kid's got a heart. He's worked hard. He's labored. He's worked to get back to the field. He's got a 6 year of eligibility, and he will pay dividends for this football team as we go through the season. This just wasn't the right time for Munchie to go out there and take the reins early in the first game. Hopefully we can get him in the game, and Jared Evans the same thing. Jared's been with us for 7-8 months and worked hard. All three of these guys give us some strengths. I think they help each other out. And as I said later last week, that probably all three will have an opportunity to get in the game this week. So we have a quarterback that will start. Gunner is a guy that has got a lot of confidence. He hasn't played much football in 3 years, and I'm sure there's going to be some nerves on his part. But, he's the type of guy that, since I've been around, he wants to play. He wants to be in the game. He wants the ball in his hands. Players have confidence in him. They have confidence in what he's done in practice, how he's made himself stronger. He looks much different now than he did when he got to our campus last, I guess it was August. And Joe Walker and his strength staff have done an excellent job, and he's maturing into a quarterback. Will he be the best he can be Saturday? No, he'll be much better this time next year. But he has the ability to win a lot of games for us on this level. And he's got some weapons around him. He's not the only guy that will play. I know everybody's interested in who's going to be that starter, so we'll announce that. And he's probably known for a few days that he's going to be the guy, and he's handling it very well. So with our offensive line around him, with our wide receivers and our running backs, I think we can have a very potent offense. I think that if we can pick up where we left off last year at the end of the season, regular season, then this offense has got a chance to explode because of the speed that we have. We've got a lot of speed that can stretch the field, and now we just have to work on consistency and everybody learning their position. Defensively, really excited about Hank Hughes and Robert Prunty, what they've done as co-coordinators. We're going to be physical. We've made multiple changes from last year. We put a new face on our defense, and I think that it'll be recognized pretty quickly. I think that this team with its speed is going to be very good tacklers. It's going to be an aggressive defense that can make plays. Again, it's one of those that defense is a lot easier to play the first game than offense is because of the you know what to expect. We know what to expect from Toledo. We've seen their team, and we've been able to line up for the last couple of weeks and get a jump. Offensively, it's more about you than it is the other team, and so it's about execution. So looking forward to offense, defense, and special teams. It's going to be a lot better than it was last year. I tell you, we've worked probably 20-30% more on special teams in the last month than we have in the past, and those it's got to pay off for us. Coverage teams, return teams, not just our punters and kickers. So just looking forward to Friday night. I think that all of us in this room, including me, will be interested to see how this team competes and makes plays and competes against other people on the other side of the line of scrimmage in a new venue in Paul Brown Stadium, and hopefully with a lot of fans there. Toledo, just something about them the last couple of weeks. They've improved from their first to their second game. They played a very good football team that won the Western Division in the SEC last year. They've got a lot of people back, and they're just overwhelmed by a little speed in some areas. But Toledo is a team that obviously from this state, and our players know some of theirs, and it's going to be a lot of carryover. It'll be a rival game for both teams. They're coming here. Last time Toledo played Cincinnati, Toledo came up on the long end of the straw and got a big victory, and I'm sure they're excited about coming down here. But again, they've got good speed. They lost their quarterback, but they had competition like we did in two-a-days. Their quarterback that will start now, will be in the game, has had a tremendous amount of practice time, I'm sure, trying to win that position from the young man that was unfortunately hurt. So experience on the offensive line, experience on the defense. They run to the ball very well. It should be an interesting matchup between two Ohio teams here on the banks of the Ohio River come Friday night. Questions?
Tommy, when you say Gunner looks different, is it physically or throw motion, footwork, or a little bit?
A little bit of all of it. We changed his throwing motion. We changed his footwork. We put some weight on him. His arm is a lot stronger. We concentrated on his arm and his back, trying to get the ball on the out routes and things a little bit quicker, release the ball a little quicker. But it all goes, quarterbacks have to learn a lot. And he was fortunate for him during the season last year on Sundays, he would take the reins on Sundays when we practice all our young guys and have a chance to go against a defense. And then a lot of practice in the bowl practice. And then, of course, Munchie did not practice in the spring. Jared Evans was new. And Gunner got a lot of snaps and a lot of looks. And he knows this offense well. We're not a simple offense. And the ball is in his hands for a reason. He has been able to get us in more plays as we've gone through this camp than anybody else. And he understands a little bit more, and rightly so. He's been around it, more than the other two, Munchie being out for a year. So it's going to be some competition there for week in and week out, but he really has improved physically. Now, mentally is the part that, he's got to get over the jitters and get ready to go and be his first-time quarterback in college football. Again, at Notre Dame, he did not play. He redshirted. Really wasn't in on the game plans, and so now this is kind of like a high school guy coming out just a little bit older and playing for the first time.
Competition at kicker, is that still
Yeah,
ongoing?
Gantz, our young man that has been battling Tony Emiliano. Tony, unfortunately, has had a hip pointer for the last few weeks and hadn't been able to kick as much. We won't make a decision probably until Thursday or Friday because Tony's going to start kicking again today, and we're just looking for consistency now. Tony will be our kickoff guy for sure, but who is going to do our field goals and extra points probably we'll see, because it was neck and neck going into his injury. But we're going to kick the guy that's going to do the best job in the next few days. And of course Tony has that edge because he's got more experience. But again, we're going to kick the guy with more consistency. Punter, John Lloyd and Geraci, two guys that have gone back and forth. They're kind of neck and neck. We'll make a decision maybe in pregame on that, whoever comes out and does a good job in pregame. And both of those positions will go all year long. There's, one guy could get hot and they could stay, and one guy could miss one or two, and then we could go with the other guy. So I'm not as much worried this year about punter and kicker as I am more concerned about our return games. That's got to be better. Our coverage teams, that's got to be better. It's not just your punter and kickers, which they play a big role. It's also everybody else that's involved in your special teams.
Coach, how do you see the rotation in your running backs?
I think that Jose Williams is leading right now just because of experience. Tion Green had some hip problems back about 2 weeks ago, and he got behind some in camp. But you'll see both of those. Rod Moore, I think he's added a lot to us. Remember, Rod last year was a junior college player that came in January. Then we had to move him to cornerback because we didn't have anybody. And now we've moved him back, and he's a little bit behind. But I tell you, he gives us that spurt. So you'll see all three this Friday. Any other questions? Pardon?
Has it been hard at all to keep these guys interested because they're not playing games and they're just almost like camp, extended camp?
Yeah, it's been hard to keep players' attention, coaches' attention, my attention. I mean, all of our attention spans are about playing games, and you go through all of spring and then summer, and then you get to camp, and then it's forever. We're the only team that hadn't played. And some teams will have played 3 games. Those that play on Thursday night will have played 3 games, and we haven't played one yet. But like I said earlier, that's behind us now. We're focused on the first game, and we'll rack up a lot of games here in a short period of time. I think it's 87 days today, 87 or 86, regular football season's over with. And so this thing's going to go by pretty quick now that we're getting this late start. So we're just fortunate and excited about going and see where we're at. We might need a lot of work after Friday's game. Who knows? This is a game of going out and getting it done in 4 quarters, and our guys will be excited. Some that you hope are not too overly excited. Hope they don't lose their concentration in what they're doing and go play solid football.
You said you had to be imaginative during this extra time. What's the most imaginative thing you did?
Oh, heck, we gave them. I'm never giving a team 2 days off in a row. I would say, last week, I mean, we were thinking of things to do in practice. We were doing different tackling drills. We were spending more time on just maybe a punts or your fake punts or trick play just to keep them from getting bored. And when you get bored, you don't concentrate, and then there's no reason to even be out there. So we got to the point last week it was time to pull the plug, get them away from us and them, and everybody kind of relax and think about something else other than football. And they came back Sunday in a great frame of mind after a couple of days off, and we've got a lot more done. But again, you got to remember the time spent preparing for one college football game is hours after hours, especially when you're playing your first game. So I think our coaches have done a good job. They've taken them home with them to eat at night, their positions, got them away from the same food up here every day, just trying to do something to think about other than playing or practicing football for a football game.